What do you need for music production? If you're starting out, it can be very confusing. In this video, I'm going to talk about 6 things that you need for your production. Consider subscribing if you already haven't and hit the bell button to get notified when I upload a new video. Number 1, a computer. Yeah, it's so super logic. You can play instruments and if you don't want to make music in the computer, you still have to have some sort of recording device, and that recording device nowadays is a computer. So you need a computer. That can be a PC or a Mac. I made a special video about choosing a PC or a Mac, or what do you need in your computer, what kind of computer do you need. I will link it up or in the description or in a card of YouTube. Number 2, monitor speakers. Yeah, monitor speakers. I have a pair of monitor speakers over here. You need them. You can't do it on a headphone. You can do only, the problem is that headphones have a different dynamic and you hear stuff better mostly on a headphone than on regular speakers. But you need them in order to have somewhat of a reference of how somebody will perceive your music. Speakers are different than headphones. Number 3, I have it in my hand. It's a MIDI keyboard. You don't have to have a MIDI keyboard with a MIDI interface, not necessary. Most keyboards nowadays have a USB connection like this one. It can be a small keyboard, it can be a big keyboard with 88 keys. But the reason why you need it, you can do it on screen. Yeah, you can do that, and you can type something with your regular keyboard of your computer. The advantage of using a special MIDI keyboard is that the touch, the feeling of the keys is different than the keys of a regular keyboard of a computer. Those keys are made so when you touch them you have a really good feedback that you know when you're pressing down. Regular keyboards and musical keyboards, I mean, have a different, yeah, we call it in Holland aanslag. So you can easier make rhythms, for example. If you don't, even if you don't can play a keyboard, it's easier to type out a rhythm on these kind of keyboards than on a regular computer keyboard. You can find keyboards. I believe this one was 80 euros or something. But you can find them cheaper if you don't want to have a really slick one like these. But yeah, please get a MIDI keyboard. It's not really super necessary, but it is very useful. But you also need software to make your music in. And that software is called a DAW, a digital audio workstation. There are a lot of different DAWs out there. For example, one of the most used is Ableton Live. That program, the full version, costs about 800 euros. One of the other most used is probably Logic Pro X, only for the Mac, about 200 euros. I currently use Presonus Studio One because I like it a lot. That's about 300 or 400 euros. But there's also FL Studio. FL Studio is mostly for Windows. There are some beta versions out there, but for the Mac. But you need software to program your music in. Yes, and there is a lot of confusion about using sound cards. Do you need a sound card or not? No, you don't need a sound card per se. Because all computers nowadays have built-in sound cards. Your laptop has one, every Mac has one, and most of the PCs nowadays, the sound card is on board on your on the motherboard of your computer. That is fine for just hearing what you're doing. But you can use an extra sound card that can have a better quality. You can use sound card to reduce the latency, that is the time that the computer takes to process a sound. There's always some latency. There's also always a delay when you're putting sound in the computer and when it's coming back to you. That delay is called a latency. Use an external sound card. That's what my opinion. Preferably a Thunderbolt sound card, but a USB sound card will do just fine. What sound cards are mostly used for is not as much as producing sound as more as recording sound. Most monitor speakers have a connection that you can't connect to your computer. You need something of a converter, but most sound cards have I call it a maxi jack, because you have also a mini jack, but a maxi jack connector that you can use with your monitor speakers. And not all speakers have a mini jack connection. Yeah, you can convert that if you want, but in this case, my monitor speakers have a normal jack connection and a mini jack connection, so I can hook it up directly to my Mac. But if you don't, you can use a sound card for that. But that is not the most common reason why people use a sound card. The most common reason is because you want to record something. For example, a microphone. And when you have cardioid microphones, that are microphones that are really precise in listening to the sound that is around. Those microphones, also used in professional studios, need a phantom power, a 48 volt phantom power to power the microphone so they can pick up sounds. Good sound cards and sound cards that are especially made for producing support those 48 volts phantom power. A regular built-in sound card in your laptop or your standard Mac or your PC won't have a phantom powered XLR connection. So if you want to record something, you can use a sound card for that, record a microphone. But there are also, with the old school MIDI connection, is probably not present on your Mac, I know for sure, and probably not present on your PC. You can use or a USB connection, or a lot of sound cards have a MIDI connection. Sound cards can have extras, like when you press a button, it will make your signal mono. Really useful for mixing and testing, A/B testing of your mix. If it's alright for mono, there are some more advantages. If you have a microphone in one room, and in the other room is the producer, there is a monitor function you can talk into. There are sound cards with built-in microphones that you can talk into, so it is an intercom for the other room. That kind of stuff that is present on a good professional sound card. So a sound card, it has some advantages over a standard sound card, but you don't especially need them except when you're going to record something. Oh, the irony for my last point. The irony is a treated room. In my case, I didn't treat my room. The reason for that, it is not a really aesthetic thing, and I'm not gonna live here very long. So when I'm treating my room for my music production, and I'm gonna move in a few months or half a year, that is money and time down the drain. But in my next home, I want to build a room especially for producing. I want to treat that room. The problem now is, and you can hear that, there is a lot of noise, galm, echo in the room. Sounds that are bouncing off of the walls. I have another carpet on my floor, so and especially the basses are bouncing off the ceiling, the walls, the floors. It's really bad. If you want to produce, it's really useful to have a treated room. So those signals are not bouncing everywhere, and you have somewhat a more natural environment to test your music in. And that's it already for this video. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!
You can support me for free just by hitting the thumbs up button, so YouTube will offer my video to more people. You can also subscribe to my channel if you like, and hit the bell button to stay updated. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time.